Yo, what's poppin'? What's poppin'? It's your boy Caleb Dunbar, CEO Kingship Mindset. Yes, sir. I got an amazing topic to discuss today. It's called Pan-Determinism. You probably never heard of that word, but it's about to blow your fucking mind in the matter of boosting your awareness of who you are, what you are, why you are, in the design of society and how you play a key role in tradition, beliefs, and everything like that. So without further ado, let me get into the mechanism, exactly what we're going to be going over. So I'm gonna give you the definition of what it is. I'm gonna give you some examples of what it is. This is the live lesson agenda too, and how to apply it daily or how it applies daily. And it's gonna be based upon free will versus conditioning. And you're gonna actually understand exactly how all this stuff plays a key role in understanding who you are, where you are, and why you are who you are. But before we even get into any of that like stuff, this is probably some of you guys probably first time seeing one of my lessons. So I am a life clarifier. What is a life clarifier? Well, basically a life clarifier is something new. The reason why it's something new is that I go about life in regards to understanding everything is very simple. We make it complicated. So imagine if you had somebody around in your life that understands the mechanisms of how simple it is to apply certain principles in life to make things very crystal clear and simple. And in regards to making it simple, you can go full force into it because you know exactly where you're going and how you want to go about it. For instance, like a little accolades about me. I've been able to travel the world over 20 countries. So I know how to adapt to certain cultures. I know how to move around, understand the mechanism of understanding, United States is different from all the other countries, but even more so how to go about planning and this and like that for trips and where to go, some GOAT recommendations, stuff like that. Also, too, to get even deeper, I've I've done a lot of these lives. I got over 10 of them available for you guys, all of them life changing and different topics. So I'm definitely a great inspirational, insightful speaker. Things that can give you some gems on how to focus in on yourself and talking. Even more so, I'm a podcast. I got my own podcast, self-published author, yes, sir. And of course, I got my own clothing line. I got some things going for myself. So I'm blessed in regards to that, not to boast anything like that. I'm blessed and I understand how to put my head down and help somebody else put their head down and accomplishing what they want to accomplish. So that's the gist of a little glance about me. So without further ado, now you know kind of like who I am and stuff like that. Let's get into the mechanism, what we about to go over, what we about to buy. It's time to take note, y'all. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is pan-determinism? What is it? Well, it's the idea that human behavior is the symptom of biological and social conditionings. In other words, it is the idea that humans do not have control over whom they become, but instead simply become the person or the people their genes and upbringings force them to become. You see how deep that definition is, right? Really think about that in regards to who you are right now. Is it because of your genes and your ancestry DNA of your prolongers of that? For instance, like, since I'm black, I understand the ancestral DNA of slavery and stuff like that. And the system that was created in the United States is from the beginning of the Constitution created, it never seen, colored people, typically everybody, besides white people. And no offense about that. I'm just going based upon what's actually information presented to us and actually developed to about this research. In regards to understanding that, we're not considered a person or a citizen in this world, which is why presently to this day, you see, social media, we still got digressed and not let go of certain things or not being able to get away with things. We get treated full punishment, full maximum amount in all categories, which is pretty fucking insane, regardless of the evidence, regardless of everything that's presented. So that's just a glance about that, in particular of the gene dynamic of life. But even more so, let's get into more things and differentiate from that. How were you upbringed? How were you brought up? Some people are born in wealth, some people are born in poverty. For instance, I was born in poverty. So in the instance for me, I'm trying to break generational poverty. When we actually look at the system of life, is it generational poverty or is it based upon we all being born in a system that's made to keep us down and keep us digressed and always making us need the government to live, food stamps, Social Security and all this other welfare stuff and stuff like that, versus actually understanding how to invest in our future, how to understand, we're going to do 9 to 5. Okay, we need to save up accordingly to be able to invest and break out of these things, create a business, stuff like that. I wasn't born in that structure, but some people are. So it depends on sometimes you got to do drastic measures to get out of that. And for me, my dramatic thing to get out of the hood and poverty was to join the military when I was 17, and my life was ever changed. And I'm not promoting the military, but I'm just giving you a glance on how, pan-determinism can play a role into how your life is and how it changes and what you're around. So boost your awareness to it. But the thing about it is that let's get even deeper. Let's get into deeper and understand some things even more in depthness on this topic at hand. So these are some examples of pan-determinism, even more deeper, so you can have a vivid thing of understanding. So the P, decisions, the actions, the behavior you do every day, or what's around you, the decisions you make every day. Is it your decisions you making? Do you feel like it's really yours, or is it based upon the traditions and beliefs and the upbringings that you was taught upon? So is it really yours? The actions you take, for instance, like, in the sense of crossing the street, everybody instills fear in crossing the street. Make sure you look left and right before you cross the street, baby. You might get hit. That sense of fear is what's being instilled within you, even though there's nothing to fear if you just make sure there's nothing crossing the street. But you do it in a sense of urgency, like, oh shit, I don't want that to come across you and hit me. You do it in a sense of scariness. Hey, and nothing wrong with that. But I'm trying to say a glance at that small essence of when you look at life, think about things in that regard. You always got to brush your teeth. You always got to look presentable. You always got to look professional. You always got to do something like that. These are proper procedures of how things need to be in order to be seen the correct way, which is how life works. So the behaviors you have to take accordingly, be professional, be courtesy, be mannerful, and all the stuff. You have to really be seen in that regard, or to really be respected among most people. So most people who are truly valuable and stuff like that, a lot of them just carry themselves in that regard. Hey, I'm upper class. This is how we act. This is, in order for you to get with us, you got to act like us or be around us. Bullshit. Like sometimes that's not happening. But I'm saying in a sense of stigma, and you see how decisions in regards you make, and decisions people make for you and around you, the actions they make and how it influence you, not influence you, the behavior you embody around those things. Now let's get even more deeper. The biology, psychology, and sociology conditions. Our biology to our DNA. Every race, everybody has its own ancestry things that's passed down to them for the history that we carry when we walk around in our skin and our essence of who we are. Really grasp and get into that history of those, why we are the way we are and who we are the way we are for our bloodline's sake. And you see how that plays a role into our spirituality and our mentality and stuff like that, and why we so vicious, why we so this and why we so that, and how we all are different. We're all humans, but we're all different in our own ways of flavor, creativity, how we approach ourselves, physical physiques, and everything. It's crazy. So really allow yourself to upgrade yourself in that regard, understand those things. And sociology, society, what do you think is happening around us right nowadays? So much evolution, so many things like that. How does that play a role into you? Really grasp that. Is it playing a role into you, good way or a bad way? Now, how does this apply daily? I like to have to think about this deeply. This is how it applies daily. And some glance about how it applies daily. Greetings. How do you greet somebody? Everybody greets somebody in the exact same way. So if you greet somebody the exact same way and you already have a dialogue for how everybody, is going to greet you according to what you say, then it's basically routine. It's basically a system and a machine. First, for me, I understand I'm aware of this stuff. I try to greet people. I greet people in a different way. I don't try. I do. For instance, like if I see somebody, I'm like, okay, what's up? Hey, how are you doing today overall? How are you doing today? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This is going to be a deep-ass conversation. It's going to be a very in-depth conversation off the rip. Most people sometimes be like, oh, wow, you catching me off guard, but there's too much to say. And it's like that. Okay, cool, no problem. Like that. I'm just letting you know I would love to hear about it or I would care about it. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes if I am on the go, I don't always say this if I'm on the go. I can't. Hey, I hope you're having an amazing day today. Hey, how are you? Hey, I hope you're having an amazing day today. I leave it at that. Open-ended sentence. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's the best way to do it if you're on the go and stuff like that. But instance, if I'm just grocery shopping, I'm talking, trying to have a good conversation on the bartender, stuff like that. Hey, how are your day going today overall? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Break people away from their actual structure of living and job and stuff like that and be different. And you're going to see how people react to you. The conversation you have. For me, I like to have conversations based upon structure. You know what I'm saying? What are we going to get out of this? Are we going to get better or are we just talking bullshit? If we talking bullshit, I'm wasting my fucking breath. I can go do a live lesson. I can do a podcast. I can put my energy somewhere else. If I'm not growing. The fuck are we doing? Are we celebrating? You know what I'm saying? What's the purpose about it? We got to have a dope purpose. If we just have conversations based upon nothing, then we're not going to get nothing in return of this conversation. So have productive conversations to boost your awareness or just going to better you. And of course, the clothes, new clothes if you can. But in the sense of life, clothes, the food, and the living spaces, sometimes you can't control those things. You got to be blessed with what you got. For me, I was born and raised in that. You got to, whatever we got is whatever we got. Now, the thing about in life is that, nowadays, there's so many things that anybody can do to require money and to be seen and to make the best out of their situation and get out of the situation so easily. It's starting to become more and more not an excuse, which is unfortunate to say, but it's just the reality of it. Social media, this ball game of phone and technology has made it game over. Like, what are you doing? Get to chipping. So in the thought of being chipping, you're going to get there, brother. Be patient. The friends you have, for me, that words mean something to me. If we've been friends 3+ years and you still a fucking friend of me and you're not family, then we got a fucking problem. Because by that time, you should know some stuff about me. Most people and around me at that point should know. So really ask yourself what does friends stand for you. And really have a dialogue with who's around you that's influenced you in a good way or a bad way. But even more so, who's keeping you in a condition of routine about being yourself versus you trying to evolve. They're making you have recyclable energy versus renewable energy. And they're not adding to it. They're taking away from you. So really ask yourself, well, who's around you? And of course, your job, you can't control the job. You have to survive. You got to survive. But in a sense, for me, luckily and praising God, I was in the military. I was, it's a machine. You do the same shit every day, something like that. And that regard. Only thing that was different, like what you eat and who you talk to. So in regards to me, because I know that, I made it a mission to make sure I talk to somebody new, and I make sure I look to eat something different every day. So look for ways, and there are so many ways to make every day different, so you don't feel like I'm in a routine. The gender, the people you're around, every gender influence you in a different way. The readings that you read, social media mentors, and etc. All this stuff really plays a role in how Pan-Determinism plays an effect every day, and the sense of your upbringing, and also to what's around you that's influencing you. So really grasp yourself. Who do you want to influence you? For me, to be unique and understand the embodiment of who I am and what I bring to the earth, I don't look for no influence anymore. I look for myself and understanding the answers are within me. I ain't embodying who I am, because when I do that, I'm the first of my kind on this earth. So people will see me in a different light. So people can take me in a different light. And that's what you want, an impression that's like no other. So now, let's get even more deeper into this regard, because things about to get even more real. That was deep then, now it's about to get even more deep. So free will versus conditioning. These are two definitions, and of course, a different definition for everything. But these are two crazy definitions right now. Free will, the capacity of agents to choose between different possible courses of action, unimplied. Free will is closely linked to the concept of moral responsibility, praise, sin, and other judgments which apply only to actions that are freely chosen. And of course, conditioning, a behavioral process whereby as a response becomes more frequent or more predictable in a given environment as a result of reinforcement, with reinforcement typically being a stimulus or reward for the desired response. So really ask yourself, what is free will to you? Not according to the definition, not according to anything that you see, because I just showed some big definition words so you guys can be like, oh, wow, this is crazy. But even more so, ask yourself, what is free will? Do you really have free will whenever it's like that? You want to go walk down the street, just go for a walk and have a good time. You are free to do that. But think about it in the sense that a lot of people who say that they can go do that, but sometimes the neighborhood doesn't, you ain't about to do that in a certain neighborhood, that you do that shit, something may happen, versus other neighborhoods it's freely to do. Some neighborhoods, shit, somebody see you walking the door, some shit like that, they might pull you over, or they're going to come in. Like, there's so many circumstances that requires, like, you have free will to an extent according to where you at in life and what you're trying to do. For instance, eating wise, the more money you have, the more you have options to express your free will. But the less money you have, you only have free will according to your choices that you're presented in front of you. And conditioning. Look at conditioning in this way as well. What if you can allow yourself to be conditioned too? When we're younger, when we're kids, we don't know no better. We don't know how society works, how to fit in and play a role to people. But in the sense of kids, they keep life simple. They just enjoy it. So they do know what life is, the purity of it. And as parents and as people around, we look to protect that. But when they get older, hey, it's time to grow up, bro. Wake up. And then unfortunate, with the conditions of life, you have to understand you have to survive. So you do it by any means necessary to survival. So ask yourself right now, even though you're not worrying about survival anymore, why do you still feel like why do you still look at conditions within yourself that's still survival? So what conditions do you have? For me, and particularly, I take the time appointed myself to create a focus on, so my new conditions of lifestyle can reflect the greatness of what I want to go to. For instance, working out, since I've been here for about 5-6 months in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, sir. I've been able to lose over 20-something pounds from working out every 5 to 6 days every week, nonstop. And I'm going there every time to kill myself. I'm going there to die, because I'm looking at myself like, fuck it. Whatever my body reflects, it doesn't matter. I'm conditioning myself to understand this is gonna be my kill zone. So I want something better. For instance, like, doing these dope live lessons, podcasts, clients and all the stuff that I have and stuff like that, making a mark on people. That's my new foundation of conditioning for business, to serve people. Now I have a platform to serve people. So really ask yourself when I was growing, what kind of conditioning do you allow yourself to put yourself in, or other people that's putting it on you, or society's putting it on you, and you're not even aware of it. So what are you doing? You always like, hey, yo, bro, you watch that show? And they're like, nah, bro, but I'm about to get on it like that. They influence you to watch TV show and get into the mechanism so that y'all can have something to talk about, versus like, bro, is that playing a role into who you're trying to be or where you're trying to go? Is it? Sometimes it's good to organize those things in times and stuff like that. But if you're not nowhere near where you want to be, then you start chipping quicker. So really ask yourself, what is the priorities of life with the conditions? So to really wrap it all up and to really sum it down, because I know I said so much about all this stuff and like that, and that's okay. I really want to open you guys' mind and really let you guys understand the mechanism of pan-determinism, how it plays roles. So here, this is a quick glance. This can probably mess you up even more. The idea is that human cannot control their destiny because we believe that there are certain freedoms which can never be taken from a man. Really grasp that first paragraph. And of course, the second one, the view that humans are instinctually and do not have the capacity to make choices in any condition, believes that people are not entirely conditioned and determined, but that people can determine themselves. People are self-determining because they do not just exist, but choose what their existence will be. Look how powerful that is. Really look at that. How many people in life, they broke free from something that most people would never, ever break free from? Their will, their free will to break free from the conditions of what their situation was so much more powerful than anything than the average person can do. For instance, my will and being influenced around millionaires and people who's successful and stuff like that in life right now that I have access to, praise God to be, I'm looking at how they operate and I'm just like, wow, their will of certainty is to a whole other degree than any other person I've been around in my life. And I see how that's influenced me to be able to be blessed to be in a mark in other people's life and creating so many things and stuff like that and being an influence to serve more than to take. And so really understanding this grasp of right now, the idea that humans cannot control their destiny because they believe that there are certain freedoms that will never be taken from man. Really grasp that. What is destiny? What is your destiny? For instance, like what is the saying, if you believe in Christianity story, God's know all and see all. He knows the design of everything and like that, which obviously I believe in the Most High. Really grasp yourself in regard to that. Do you all not realize we're part God? Why are we part God? We can make something out of nothing. Literally something out of nothing. That's powerful and that's beautiful. So really grasp yourself in that regard. Who are you looking to be every day? You really to express your free will to provide yourself with a new conditioning to get you to where you want to get to, or you want to allow your conditioning self, traditions and beliefs like that, which I'm not saying nothing is wrong, but if it's not going to get you to where you need to get to, then you need to unlearn some things and recondition yourself to the ways that's going to really get you to successful mechanism of life. And to be in a plateau that most people wish they forever, ever wish, instead of really putting the work in to get there. So with that being said, if you guys got any further questions or if you guys want to hit me up and stuff like that, you guys can send me, email calebvisual@gmail.com. We can talk some gems and things of that nature. Or, even with that, hit me up on IG, Kingship Mindset, or Facebook, Caleb Dunbar, on my website, www.kingship mindset. And you can just hit me on IG or Facebook with the word, determinism. And I would gladly plug you guys in. And also, too, I have an exclusive, like-minded special group that we all come together twice a week on an amazing topic at hand. And we just go over some dope ideas, agree to disagree type of topics, safe zone. And also, there's some successful people on there, too. There's some millionaires who just be getting it in life. They drop some gems. And we just come together, bro. It's a vibe. So you guys are welcome to hit me up. Hit me with the word determinism. And also, too, you guys have an amazing day. With that being said, I hope you guys gain some amazing value. And it really boosts up your awareness to understanding you are who you are. Become something greater.